Our own Reggie Harris witnessed firsthand the plight of the starving Somalis. Tonight he begins his Somalia diary. After traveling to remote regions of the famine-stricken country, his first stop was Hadur.
The town of Hadur sits in the dusty province of Bakul, 35 miles from the Ethiopian border. It's an ancient trading and military outpost. Normally, there are about 25,000 residents, but the drought and ensuing famine have doubled Hadur's population as people are drawn here from the surrounding bush country by the lure of food, brought in 4 times a day by American and European military cargo planes. Electricity and running water never existed in Hadur, but there was civil and political authority that disappeared when the Civil War erupted 2 years ago. There are lots of children, but no schools. There is a pseudo-police force, an 800-man armed militia that protects the town's food supply from bandits. The militiamen are paid with food, so that means there's less to distribute. But without the militia, all food would likely be stolen by thugs. The Irish Relief Agency Concern oversees distribution of food in Hadur. We were told that 80% of it reaches people either through Concern's feeding centers or direct donation of raw grain to people who mill it and cook for themselves.
The distribution has really sort of put the starvation itself in Hadur on hold. We've got 20 kitchens here and we feed about 25,000 people every day.
Patrick Dillon, a New York screenplay writer, came here in September to run Concern's local operation. His background, Vietnam Army medic, former Peace Corps volunteer, and a volunteer at Harlem Hospital where he helps feed babies with AIDS.
What I'm trying to do is get as much food up here as I can and push it out with my trucks into the bush, because then they don't have to come into Hadur and put more pressure on Hadur as a refugee center.
The day we arrived, Patrick was putting remote villagers on a truck back to Warmarada, their home in the outer bush country.
Women and children first. Yeah. Women and children, yeah.
They had come to Hadur seeking food. Though there's still none to be found in their village, they wanted to go home. Concern will send 1 truckload of grain a week. Patrick worries that will not be enough, that they'll be forced to come back or they will die. Though food is scarce, there's plenty of water for drinking, but very little for growing crops. Wells like this one are all over Hadur. The water table is about 20 feet underground. It has not rained frequently for 4 planting cycles, just over 2 years. Reservoirs are nothing more than shallow mud, so people are forced to take handouts in feeding centers. The grain is milled by hand, then added to boiling water.
Unless it will be porridge.
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 Relief workers say there is no lack of desire among the Somalis to work. They're known to be industrious and productive people who've become victims of civil war and drought. Even with all the food that's being given away here, we're told it's unlikely Somalia will ever become a welfare state.
People have got to recover from starvation, and then another phase will start where people are healthy enough to get on with their own lives and create their own possibilities.
U.S. troops moved into Hadur during the weekend. Their job is to secure the roads surrounding the town so that food can be delivered to the bush by trucks. The air delivery has been extremely expensive, and planes just can't go where trucks can go. Now tonight on Channel 2 News at 11, we will look at health care in Hadur. This is the inpatient ward of the hospital. There's 1 doctor for 50,000 people. He says disease kills as many people there as hunger does, and that children suffer the worst. You can see my entire report tonight on Channel 2 News at 11. Brian?
So many obstacles there, Reggie. We were just talking a moment ago about the heat. How hot is it?
The heat, I was told it was 116 degrees. It is high humidity, and the infrastructure is totally gone. That's why the Marines had to bring everything with them. Normally you go into a country, if you're fighting a battle of any type, you take your power, you take your water, you take your food. You had to bring your food and water and everything else to Somalia.
And your shelter as well.
Yes.
All right, Reggie, thanks.